India mourns the loss of former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, who passed away at 92 on Thursday at AIIMS, Delhi. His passing marks the end of an era defined by humility, intellect and dedicated services to the nation. Born on 26 September 1932, Dr. Singh rose from humble beginnings to serve as the RBI governor and later as India's 13th Prime Minister, leaving a lasting legacy on the country's political and economic landscape. And there are several former cabinet ministers and Congress leaders who fondly remember working with Dr. Singh when they were in the government. Let's listen in to what Manish Tiwari has to say.
Any words for as the last journey of Dr. Manmohan Singh has begun?
It's a very poignant moment. World-renowned economist, a statesperson in every sense of the word, has left us. And it's a big loss not only for India, but the whole world. He lived a very noble life. May his soul rest in peace.
Any memory which you want to share of Dr. Manmohan Singh?
We'll always be grateful for what he taught us, what he did for us and what he did for the country. We'll never be able to forget it. He changed the very direction of our country when Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar said the Constitution is only as good as the people who will implement it. I think that was a premonition about Dr. Manmohan Singh and the life that he gave to us and the special touch that he gave to us. I think that we can never forget, and we will ever be beholden to him.
Well, those are the former Cabinet Minister Manish Tiwari and Salman Khurshid fondly remembering working with the Dr. Singh, who was not only the head of the state but also a mentor for several of these senior leaders. Now, our esteemed panel of guests still continues to be with us. Maya Sharma, senior journalist, and Dr. Uday Nirgurkar, who is also a senior journalist. Thank you so much for continuing to stay with us. Ms. Maya Sharma, I'm going to quote Dr. Singh when he said that whatever I have done in this high office, I have done so with a clear conscience and the best interests of my country and our people at heart. When a head of the state says something like this, despite there being critics around him who are calling out his work and his stint in the high office, it somewhere reinstates a lot of hope, and perhaps that is how he went on to secure a second term as the Prime Minister of the country. But, when he is leading a coalition, it's not going to be easy, like you were mentioning. But even though there may be issues with the coalition partners, when you talk about every single leader from various political parties, regional satraps, regional parties, they all fondly remember Dr. Singh. They never had anything on him. They may have had differences with the political party, Congress per se. But when it comes to Dr. Singh, it was strange that the senior leaders of various political parties never had anything ill to talk about Dr. Singh.
Absolutely. And when you look at some of the interactions in Parliament in those days between, say, Sushma Swaraj and Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, the way they would interact, it was good-humoured, it was mutually respectful, and very, very different, it's sad to say, from what we sometimes see in Parliament today. It was a different era, the whole way he approached it. And as you said, from whichever party people are, personally, people cannot really say anything against Manmohan Singh. They have never questioned his integrity, his honesty, and his being absolutely above suspicion. The way he led the UPA did come into criticism, especially in his second term. But as a person, people have nothing but nice things to say about him. He was, of course, extremely educated, both in Cambridge and Oxford, and he was an absolutely professional economist. And that's what his role was. And he did that as finance minister, but even as prime minister as well. He brought that sense of education. And it's an old-fashioned word, but the thing of being a gentleman. He was an absolute gentleman, even in his interaction with the media, when it came to press conferences, when it came to talking to them afterwards. There was a gentleness in his approach, the fact that he was open to criticism, that he would answer the hard questions, that he would not try to hide from what people said about him. That was a thing which journalists, the media definitely appreciated his role there, even if they criticized his government. They still appreciated the way he interacted with them. His fellow politicians, opponents, people of his own party had nothing but respect for him. And when Sonia Gandhi surprisingly stepped away back in 2004, saying she would not be prime minister, but Dr. Manmohan Singh would, in later years, she did say, I knew he would be better than I would be. So there was that respect both within his party and out of it as well. and across the world as well. Barack Obama saying that he was a wise, thoughtful, and scrupulously honest gentleman. He said that's how he described Dr. Manmohan Singh, and that has been the kind of word which have been used for world leaders as well. It was not just within India, but internationally as well. There was a great deal of respect for him, for the work he did, and the way he was personally. The integrity he had personally has never been questioned.
Absolutely, Ms. Sharma. Dr. Nirgurkar, I am quoting Dr. Singh over here once again. Like Ms. Sharma was also mentioning that, he enjoyed a sense of warmth and camaraderie even with political opponents who not necessarily agreed with him. Many of them from within the coalition also disagreed with several ways of his working, or the Congress party's functioning for that matter. But they didn't have anything to pick a bone with as far as Dr. Singh was concerned. When he said that in matters of state, one has to be full of sentiments, but one can never be sentimental. It's a very, very mature statement over there. Dr. Nirgurkar, do you think that it's his life's earning today that people across party line, across political spectrum, and rather across the globe remember Dr. Singh with the kind of warmth and love that he is now being spoken about? It is his life's earning.
It's a rare quality to connect in spite of differences, maintain personal equations and relations. And surely he would be remembered for this unique ability. I remember in 2006, when Maharashtra's Vidarbha region, which was known for constant droughts and farmers' suicide, it was Dr. Manmohan Singh who came all the way from Delhi, went to the corners of Vidarbha, sat with the widows of suicide farmers, understood their problem, went back and found a solution. And for that, he asked suggestion from one and all. Media gave suggestions to him at that time, I remember. And he was welcoming them. And the same media was extremely critical of his measures on farmers' issue. But that never stopped him from accepting suggestions, even from the journalist. And that's a very rare thing. Remember, he's the only prime minister, I would say, who has had the fortune of being a finance minister and who has been in RBI as well as in planning commission. Such people normally are known to work in the AC offices and come with the policy which is not connected with the ground. His ability to connect not just with the state leaders in India and abroad, but with the common man, because of his humble background, that made it very essential.
That's exactly what Dr.
Nirgurkar,
Ms. Maya Sharma was also saying, that not only was he affable, but he was also accessible for his cabinet ministers and the journalists at large. I wish we could go on with this conversation, but I do have paucity of time. But thank you, Ms. Maya Sharma and Dr. Nirgurkar, for taking our time and joining us here at Mirror Now. Well, it's time for a quick break. We are